what would you say? What are the biggest bottlenecks when someone starts with OpenFOAM or even an expert in OpenFOAM?
Okay, so the main problems that I see, especially with newcomers, is that they want to go in for the kill immediately. So they want to go through 3 or 5 tutorials, and then they want to go for the actual problem. And this is problematic because at each individual steps in your CFD setup, you can make a small mistakes which has a consequence at a certain point. For example, your simulation crashes with some floating point exception, and it is very difficult to then trace back the error to a problem in the geometry or a problem in mesh setup. So what I like to advise, and I focus on, for example, in several videos on Patreon, on that, how you can improve your CFD work and your career as CFD engineer, that you start small, start with a tutorial, then several tutorials, then try to set up a very, very simple case, which is more or less the same as your final case setup, but really simplified, just an inlet, an outlet, and a wall, and with the simplest numeric, simplest physics, and then increase the physics. So that, for example, the thermodynamic settings go from an ideal gas law to a more complex law, and then it's usually hand in hand with first and second order, and then do it on that small case with a very good quality mesh. And then once you have a good idea about the physics and then also the numerics, then you can go and then increase the complexity of your geometry to the level that you require. Mm-hmm. So that do this step by step, and I know that it takes longer, but believe me, if you have your problem, an error in your complex geometry, it takes a lot longer to trace it back to a problem than do it step by step. Maybe people consider OpenFOAM a free version of Fluent and a free version of CFX, and this is what we talked about earlier, that you have to go in with a different mindset. It's not a free commercial code, but it is an open source code where you want to have the possibility to control, but because you have the possibility to have a lot of control, but this also means that you have to be able to control several things, maybe not everything, but several things. So you have to go into OpenFOAM with a different mindset, and I see that people consider OpenFOAM kind of like the WinRAR in the CFD world, that you just download it and then click, and then that's it. It should work, but that's not the correct mindset that you should use when you are going into and starting with OpenFOAM. You should be wanting to have the control and then nail down the things that you can fix for your problem settings, and then understand what you have to change.